Hey there, sports fans. Mike Crook coming at you with episode 24 of Laces Out. In this week's edition, we're going to be talking about the turmoil that's going on in Tallahassee right now, our weekly fantasy football update. Did I actually squeak by and win number 6 in a row? Guess you have to wait and find out. As well as our weekly college and pro pick'ems and our top picks for the ACC and Big 12 this week. So stay tuned. All right, first off, what'd you think of the new intro? We had to switch it up because honestly, we were getting really tired of the copyright strikes from YouTube, so screw that, screw the content creator that decided to make their stuff copyright protected, even though we paid for the license a couple years ago, but whatever. So hopefully you guys like the new one. So the top story we'd like to talk about this week, which is pretty much all due to the firing of Penn State head coach James Franklin, is what does that mean for Mike Norvell? He's literally in the same boat that James Franklin was in, both sitting at 3-3. Both had some really disappointing losses. So is this the kind of ride that FSU is going to have this season? If so, please get me off right now. As reported by Corey Clark from Wake Up War Chant, FSU has had 10 losing streaks of at least 3 games since 1981, 40-plus year span. Mike Norvell has been the head coach for 6 of those. Let that little tidbit of information sink in. And right now, is there a light at the end of this tunnel? I get that we're on the road this weekend for a subpar Stanford team. But could the fact that FSU is traveling 3 time zones away and having an insanely late kickoff going to be an equalizer for them? FSU is going to need to actually find a way to fire on all cylinders for all 4 quarters. They are not going to be able to take their foot off the gas, not even for a split second. And at this point, winning is just not enough. If they win out the rest of the season, with each of those wins coming by 7 points or less, I can't see that be enough of a thing to save Mike Norvell's job. If he wants to turn down the heat on his seat, he's actually going to need to get all of his coaches on the same page and to clean things up, mainly on defense. Tony White, we're talking to you, man. The wins are going to need to be big and convincing. We're talking 14 to 17 points at minimum. And just to put things in perspective, because everyone's like, oh, you know, he's never going to be as good as Bobby. He's never going to be as good as Jimbo. Like, well, no kidding. But let's just take a look at their first 5 full seasons with the program compared to Mike's first 5 seasons and how things fared out for season 6 for each of them. So in comparison, Bobby Bowden went 44-14 over the first 5 seasons at Florida State. And then he went 4-2 over the first 6 games of his 6th season. Losses coming, both of them on the road, to then number 17 Nebraska and then number 3 Pitt. And both of them were blowout losses. But on the flip side, he also inherited a team that only won 15 games over the previous 5 seasons combined. So he had a really good turnaround, honestly. And his only losing season was that first season. I think they went 5-6 that year. He would finish his 6th season with a 6-5 record that did include 3 straight losses to Miami, Southern Miss, and Florida. And 2 of those 3 were blowout losses. Let's go to Big Boss Man number 2, Jimbo Fisher. He went an astonishing 58-11 over his first 5 seasons. And in his first 6 games of his 6th season, he was undefeated, 6-0. He would finish that year 10-3 with losses to Georgia Tech and Clemson. Both of those were by 10 points or less. And then he did have a Peach Bowl loss to Houston. And I think that was by like 14 points. He inherited a Bobby Bowden team that was losing steam. It had not had a 10-win season for 6 straight years. And it finished his final season with a 7-6 record and a win in the Gator Bowl. Now let's flip it over to current head boss man Mike Norvell. Over his first 5 seasons, he's gone an abysmal 33-27. Okay, we're just talking just barely above 500. Not great by Florida State standards. And obviously he started this season 3-3, dropping 3 straight. Okay, whoa, timeout. Real quick interjection on Mike Norvell. A couple points I forgot to mention while I was recording that part initially. Let's not forget, Mike Norvell took over as a COVID coach, and he took over for Willie Taggart. Willie Taggart was an abysmal, 13-14 during his time at Florida State in his 2 seasons as head coach. So he's literally taking over a Willie Taggart run team. He's coming in during COVID. So yeah, that's why he had a really crappy 3-6 first season. Got a couple more wins in season 2. And then he rattled off 2 really good 10-win seasons. 10-3, 13-1. Before we had the crap show, I want to say other words, but crap show of 2-10 in 2024. Following the playoff snub. We won't talk about that. So give Norvell a little bit more credit, guys. He's not had the greatest team to come into or the greatest situation to build a team from, like COVID, starting a new program. Not fun. Starting a new program that had 2 really crappy seasons before that. Not fun. So let's press on with the rest of the video. Now, over the course of his 5+ seasons, he now has a current conference record of 20-23. Terrible. We all know that the dynasty that Bobby built and that Jimbo continued, and we're not expecting Mike to be the next Bobby Bowden. But here's the thing. The college football landscape is completely different now than it was when Bobby built this program and when Jimbo took it over. The NIL and the transfer portal have completely changed the way that this game is played, as well as coached and recruited. And in my opinion, it's not for the better under its current structure. I'm not saying the NIL is bad or the transfer portal is bad, but the way it's currently being utilized, not a fan. But for Mike to be successful, in my opinion, he has to quit solely relying on the transfer portal to build his roster. He's got to get back to the roots of this and go back to high schools and really start getting those 4- and 5-star recruits. He doesn't seem to recruit the way that Bobby and Jimbo did. And he doesn't seem to be getting fired up on the sidelines the way that he should be when the chips are down. He looks more lost than anything, honestly. I am still sold on the Gus bus for the time being, but honestly, Tony White needs to either fix his coaching style and scheme, or Norvell needs to show him the door. Because honestly, this guy does not seem to adjust well as the game progresses. He seems to keep using the same defensive scheme over and over, and eventually the opposing OC, they figure that out, they adjust their offensive plays, and then boom, FSU's down by 2 touchdowns, possibly more. Look at Miami. Because early on, when this defense works so hard to set up 3rd and long, like they've had so many times, like during Pitt in Virginia, where they had 3rd and upper single digits or lower double digits, and then they consistently get burned on a well-timed QB scramble or a mid-level pass because our secondary or our linemen, they just cannot wrap up and complete a tackle. Like, how frustrating is that? Teach your kids how to tackle. Like, that's basic fundamental defensive coaching, right? Come on. As it stands right now, the only way that we're going to win games is if our offense just goes balls to the wall and we start getting into shootouts, putting up 30, 40 plus points a game, and pray that our defense can get 1 or 2 lucky stops late in the game so we can escape with a close win. That's not Florida State football. It's not what we're used to. It's not what we expect. And this team deserves better. They are built to win by double digits each and every time, not having to escape during the final minutes of a game, especially against subpar oppositions. Like, we can't play high school games the entire season. Like, come on. So what do you think? Could Norvell be fired before the season's up, even if they continue to win out but only win close games? Could FSU be in the same position as Happy Valley? Leave your comments below. I'd love to get into dialogue, see what you think, and let's have a discussion. All right, moving on to the world of fantasy football, where all I can say is all good things must come to an end. My 5-0 run came to an end against my sister-in-law this weekend, and this is also the first weekend I failed to break 100 points. So kudos to you, Carrie. Don't know if you actually watched this, but great weekend of competition. Our league is definitely becoming top-heavy, with myself and Kelsey being on top of our 8-man league, and the bulk of our managers actually sitting at about a 3-3 record. This weekend should see a lot of separation, though, and can't wait to see how the standings shake up after the dust settles come Tuesday morning. So hopefully everyone does well, but you know what? Half the team's got to lose, right? But let's press on to a little bit more depressing news. our pick'ems. So right now I firmly believe that my college picks are just one big crapshoot. I went 4-6 this week, which might honestly tie like one of my better weeks this season, which is really sad. Yeah, I just cannot even seem to break 500 really well. I'd be happy with a 6-4 weekend at this point, but let's be real. It just seems like there's a lot of disparity in college football. You think you got a good team locked in, and somehow they lay an egg on the road, or they just fall to some subpar competition. So, but my pigskin pick'ems though, I actually went 10-5 in one of my entries, 9-6 in the other one. So I still do have a 1-game advantage over Trey in our pigskin pick'em leagues. I swear I can talk. So yeah, kudos to you, Trey. It's going to be neck and neck between us for the rest of the season. I can see it being that way, and you know, I'm cool with that. I love drama, so we'll see how the season pans out. But kudos to you, Trey, and may the best man win this weekend. And so speaking of pick'ems, let's jump into our Big 12 and ACC picks of the week. So I did go 2-1 in both conferences last week, with my lone ACC loss being I picked Florida State to be Pitt, and we all know how that one turned out. And then I also picked Arizona for the win, and that one did not quite turn out the way I thought it would. But here we go, still hoping for that perfect 3-0 in each conference this weekend. So first up, let's go ACC this week. Let's go ACC. So first up, I've got 4-1 Louisville traveling to undefeated and number 2 in the nation, Miami. This one, honestly, I don't see being like a huge blowout. I know that Louisville's really good, but Miami definitely is better. And honestly, this one is going to be really close going through the first 3 quarters, with Miami pulling away late in the 4th quarter for a 10-point win. Louisville's going to give the Canes everything they can handle in this one, but in the end, Miami walks away with a win. Next up, undefeated and number 12 Georgia Tech traveling to 4-2 Duke. This one is going to be a sneaky game, honestly. I think that the Duke Blue Devils are very underrated, and I don't see Georgia Tech dominating this one. Like, let's be real, they've not been overly dominant in all of their wins. And yes, they are number 12 in the country. Yes, they are undefeated, but I feel that they are suspect, and I feel this is a trap game. Georgia Tech is going to win this one, but it's going to be very close. Honestly, 7 points or less. Give me the Ramblin' Wreck in this one. Very close, though. Very, very close. Lastly, and this is going to be the last time I do this, Florida State, mark my words, this is the last time I do this. I'm going Florida State and Stanford. 3-3 Noles traveling to the 2-4 Stanford Cardinals for a very late West Coast kickoff Saturday night. On paper, Florida State should win easy. I think they're like a 17-point favorite in this one. And, just like Pitt, just like Virginia, so many trap games for FSU. But at this point, is it really a trap game? Or are they just underprepared and not really, watching the right film? Or I don't even know what it is. But either way, I hope to God Florida State really prepares for this one, because they've got to right the ship. Because I promise you, Mike Norvell loses this one Saturday night, he could very well be out of a job come Sunday morning. So if you're a Mike Norvell fan, you better be praying for a win. And I think Florida State actually figures their stuff out better. It's going to be a slow start, and the Cardinals are going to figure out how to stop Chroma and company on the ground. I don't think that the Noles are going to be able to get a huge ground game going early, but the ground game will eventually come into play late. And I don't even know what Deuce's status for this one is right now, but we definitely need our other receivers to step up. And for that to happen, I think all the chips fall into place. I know this is a long-winded explanation. Give me Noles by 15. And I promise you, Florida State, you drop this one. This is the last time I pick you to win for the rest of the season. Mark my words on that one. So FSU by 15. All right, here we go. Big 12. I can tell you right now, CU's on a bye week, so they're not one of our games. But first up, we've got 4-2 Arizona at 5-1 Houston. And something just tells me I like the Cougs in this one. I don't think the Wildcats have what it takes to actually win this game. So give me Houston in this one by 10 points. I think it's going to be a really solid game heading into the fourth quarter. Houston's going to have a touchdown lead heading into the fourth quarter, and they'll get a late field goal to seal it. But yeah, Houston by 10. Next up, number 7 Texas Tech traveling to 4-2 Arizona State. The Sun Devils have been really fun to watch this season, honestly, and I kind of miss Scadaboo being on this team. He was a lot of fun to watch at Arizona State, and he's been a lot of fun to watch for the Giants too. So, but I can't, without Scadaboo, Arizona State's just not quite the same, and Texas Tech has just been firing on all cylinders this year. So give me the Red Raiders on this one, 14 points or more. Red Raiders over the Sun Devils. Lastly, what is this, the Battle of the Holy Land or something like that? The Holy War Battle? Something along those lines is what this game is slated as. But number 23 Utah, traveling to number 15 BYU. Only one loss between these two teams. And this one could literally go either way. It almost came down to a coin flip for me, and something tells me that the Cougs are going to squeak out a win on this one. So give me BYU in this one, 7 points or less. It's going to be a close one. But BYU comes out a victor against a visiting in-state rival. All right, folks, there you have it. Episode 24 of Laces Out is officially in the books. If you like the content, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. As always, we greatly appreciate the support. Comment your thoughts below about anything we've talked about in this episode or anything you'd like to see talked about in upcoming episodes. We definitely like to interact in all the comments on YouTube, Facebook, and we've been putting this on Instagram as well, so check those out. And also, if you ever want to see our instant reactions for after Florida State, CU, or Denver Bronco games, check out TikTok as well, because those are always unfiltered instant reactions. I know that we had our last one with Denver. I don't remember which week it was, but that one could not be aired. It was completely blocked just because we had the end of the game stuff put on there, and they didn't like the fact that we had part of the game broadcast. So again, thank you for the love and support. We hope you all have a great weekend. It's going to be a great slate of games, and we will check everyone back here next week with another episode of Laces Out. So take care.